By the 1930s, everyone knew of Albert Einstein and that he was a genius. That made it matter what he believed. His quip, "I am convinced that God does not play dice with the universe," has been famous since he said it. The comment, however, was about Einstein's beliefs regarding the role of chance, not the existence of God. When he was talking about religion, he gave a different impression. In 1921, a New York rabbi asked Einstein if he believed in God, and he answered, "I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of what exists, not in a God who concerns himself with fates and actions of human beings." Thoughtful and judicious, Einstein never seemed to answer the question with the kind of zeal that might have been understood as clear-cut unbelief. In a private letter, he lamented the problem. "It was, of course, a lie what you read about my religious convictions, a lie which is being systematically repeated. I do not believe in a personal God, and I have never denied this, but have expressed it clearly. If something is in me which can be called religious, then it is the unbounded admiration for the structure of the world so far as our science can reveal it. His awe was real but should not be misread as mysticism." Consider an early comment and a late one. In 1921, a woman wrote to him asking about his beliefs, and Einstein responded that the mystical trend of our time, evident in theosophy and spiritualism, seemed to him a symptom of weakness and confusion. He added, "Since our inner experiences consist of reproductions and combinations of sensory impressions, the concept of a soul without a body seems to me to be empty and devoid of meaning." In 1953, a woman wrote to Einstein asking about life after death. He responded, "I do not believe in immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it." In 1932, he gave a speech entitled "My Credo" to the German League of Human Rights in Berlin. It is a lovely piece. "Our situation on this earth seems strange," began Einstein. "We all appear here involuntary and uninvited for a short stay, without knowing anything of why. In our daily lives, we only feel that man is here for the sake of others, for those whom we love, and for many other beings whose fate is connected with our own. This love was matched by awe. The most beautiful and deepest experience a man can have is the sense of the mysterious. It is the underlying principle of religion as well as all serious endeavor in art and science."
Thank you for watching Shane V'Chamishi, and good Shabbos. We just had a beautiful minyan here in the library. If you're on Shlichus, this is a great idea. It's a community room, and the Shliach used it. He's a very frum boy, very Hasidish boy. As you use it in Lubavitch, Hasidish means frum, or into it, you know. Big beard, and the people there, the crowd was, I was very impressed with the crowd because it was mamish. It was good. It was impressive upper crust. It wasn't the people I laned for the other weeks. That not all of them, but especially one guy who he likes to learn, but he's got some very backward and beliefs and ideas. And one of them was, he said that Einstein believed in God, and I laughed at him, and I said, "Really? You want to go to the library? You want to check it out?" Of course he wasn't interested, and that reminds me of something that we talked about last night. There's a boy who is a very proud traditional Jew, but I would call it also a secular Jew because he goes to Columbia. He's a tzamchan in the Israeli military, the parachutes, and I don't know all his accomplishments there, but he's pretty proud of himself. Goes back to Israel, visits the military, he's in school, very proud Zionist, just like Einstein. And he was putting on tefillin with two Lubavitcher boys, and he posted on Facebook, and he said, "Look, tefillin, and I'm also very proud of it. I have the tefillin hanging. It says got tefillin on it, and it's tefillin. So if someone asks, and by the way, with this wood, you could actually do the same yichud that Avraham Avinu did with the maklis. According to mysticism and medrash, Avraham would make the same yichudim with maklis. Today we can't do it because the the Chazal or the rabbis designed a pair of tefillin for us. Not true, because there are conflicting opinions on how to arrange the parshias. So we're back to square one. You could do the yichud, you could hold the telephone. A guy says, you want to put on film today? He goes, yes. You could put on it with a telephone. Another amazing thing I had, this is getting old and dirty, but it's a pin. It says no. It's a bull, and it's shitting. It's pooping. I don't know if you can see it. And the name of the concept is no bullshit, which is the boy Rudy asked me after I explained to him that these boys are doing a wonderful thing, and you see their smile on their face, and they're very innocent and they're very giving, but you don't know what's happening before and after. In their case, you don't know their history, their education, and you don't know what's going to happen to them after. What kind of life they're going to live? Will it be a fulfilled life? Will it be a meaningful life? Will it be a rich life? Will it be a life of it's better to be free than to be a slave. It's better to tell the truth than to tell a lie. What type of free inquiry do they have for themselves to know to find their place in the modern world? And he didn't see that, but he's a good person and he cares, and he's a modern person. So I sent him a link, which I'm going to include in this video below. A boy with the lulav and estig going out in the Union Square, and he meets a guy named Bob, who is a declared atheist. You see, Einstein never said he's an atheist, so he never gave that clear answer. But on Shabbos, this guy in Shul, who was kind of getting a little weird, tried to say that Einstein believed in God, and that's just one. That's, they say never go with a mugger from point A to point B. A guy puts you at gunpoint, never go with him. He says, come to the back alley. Never, and never go with a rapist. The same thing. So when they say Einstein believed in God, and you go with that, what's wrong? What's wrong with that? It's just the way of a fundamentalist Christian or someone trying to take you from point A to point B. Never go there. Of course, the library and Einstein's letters are very clear about his unbelief, but he doesn't take the approach to call himself an atheist, which I respect that, and that's the approach I take. I'm an agnostic. Stephen Jay Gould said the respectable approach to take is agnosticism. Nobody knows one way or the other. Clearly the Bible and the Quran and the Torah don't look like any God wrote it, so that should at least free you from those obligations, which anyway we don't keep the Torah, we keep the Chazal. Chazal override the Torah, and they formed what they wanted by Shabbos kosher. I never said this enough times, but it's very simple. We keep some spiritual practices. Negel Vaser, it's borrowed from the temple, but it's not noyeg bisman hazeh. There is no priests, there's no washing, there's no sacrifices. But what you have now is so I explained to Rudy that these boys, just to get a taste, I showed him a boy has a conversation with this guy who declares himself an atheist, and the boy says to him, clear your conscience if you're an atheist and go do what you want, which is exactly what the guy in Shul and the other week and this other minion said. He's a proud, Chabad goer and like traditional Jew, and he wants his kids to be educated by the Chabad, which is, of course, it's not Crown Heights, but he feels like he's getting the best. And he said that what he said was that, if you're an atheist, go out and kill people. Something very stupid. And the Bochurim said the same thing that this modern guy said. So remember, we're not blaming the Bochurim. It's just that if you want to help people, that's a great place to start. Of course, I'm surely he has no educated friends. He's a man that's successful in business, but he doesn't have any friends that have that little bit of education to tell him these concepts are retarded. And when he said that to me, I just answered him with a question, which is a very Jewish thing, and I'm a very proud secular Jew. I said, you believe that atheists have no empathy and they'll go out and they'll chaotic and you believe that? Not even getting into how many people were killed in the name of God and still today. Or not even killed, just people destroying their lives and others based on a fear of God or a belief that they got from some spiritual leader who is not honest and not qualified to even be a leader. We get that today. It goes on. This is a freedom. So I wanted to just, okay, so Rudy watches the video and he replies to me, wow, this boy is lost. So at least, he's starting to understand the plight of these Bochurim and these and he's starting to understand. And he says, wow. And then he asks me, how did you evolve? And I answered with one word, library. And I said to him, Rudy, don't laugh at that boy. I was the same thing. It's not a mental illness. It's not. They're not disabled. They're not incapable of living and fulfilled lives and being part of modern society and contributing. It's just that they haven't been given a chance. And this is what is the greatest challenge for strict Orthodox closed systems. As much as possible and as far as possible to deny them the ability to have exposure to education, any form of it, philosophy, science, just to know what philosophy is, just to know what is the nature of science, what is the nature of philosophy, what type of way of knowing, just to know what is the nature of religion, just to deny them as much as possible, to push them forward and to get them more and more, and to keep the system for what? There are many modern Jews and they're doing fine, and they're traditional and they're happy. There's two books I just wanted to show you here, and very chashuv actually, because this woman, Deborah Feldman, she wrote a book Unorthodox, and after that book, she wrote another book, Exodus, or maybe more, I don't know. I just saw this on the shelf, and she's, of course, someone asked me today in the Minyan an interesting question, but before I go, I just want to explain that her books are side by side on the shelf with Richard Feynman. And Richard Feynman, I will not explain how amazing of a scientist he is, because I cannot. You just open a Wikipedia and look at the sidelines of his accomplishments. That's the best way to do it. You might need 10 minutes, but what's 10 minutes? You'll learn about one of the greatest scientists after Einstein, a Yid, who had his own philosophy about things. And the name of his book is "What Do You Care What Other People Think?" Now, someone asked me about Sholem Deen today, and I explained to him that Sholem Deen, which is very in line with what we spoke about, the Bochurim going out to Manhattan, meeting a modern privileged Jew. Rudy is a very privileged Jew. He's a tall, handsome guy. He's in Colombia. He travels the world. Everyone loves him. The shiksas love him, and he